Hi folks, welcome to my Bit Retro Journal. When I did that video on my first my homemade computer, the case for the ZX81, I'll put a comment to point to the actual video. One of the things that I actually discovered was this letter that had this stuff in it, and it's, the date of this was 1985. Stamps here were actually 22 cents. But what this was, and I even have the, this was the advert I must have gotten out of a computer. Yeah. If you look at this was from Computers Electronics, and it had all these cool ads in it that you could buy various things for computers. And back here it had computer equipment parts, free 64-page computer catalog, and then it actually did it by types of computers at one point. You can see there's Timex Sinclair here. I believe there's Commodore 64, yeah, down here. And so the Timex Sinclair 1000 part had a whole bunch of things, including speech synthesizer for the Timex TS1000, 1500, 1000. And I actually ended up buying that, and it was $16.95. And that's what I found. So if we go back to this part right here. So this says it's speech synthesizer, Timex 1500, 1000, 1984, Seymour. And it's, I hadn't opened this up in a long time, probably over 30 years, probably since I got my QL, so sometime late 80s. And yeah, so this had a cassette in there, which was a 45-minute on each side cassette with software on it. And then it had the instructions, and it said, yeah, so I'll show you that again. Let's zoom in on that. That's why let me focus in on that. There you go. So we had different parts list. Speech synthesizer. I got the 1500, 1000 for $16.95, so the second item on the list. You could get alarm clock, talking spaces app, hard software, filter connector, amplifier unit for the 1500 for $16.95 for Timex Sinclair 2068, 1500, and 1000. If you don't know, the 1500 was just a 1000 repackaged in a Spectrum case with 16K of memory built in, and then this was its own beast. Yep, so we had that. And then we had this, which was speech synthesizer for the Timex 1500, 1000. This was a general document. And then this was their catalog. And then this is the word list. So we'll talk about that. I don't need their catalog, although again, this was some of the same things they had on that item list. And then they had the specific instructions for the Timex Sinclair 1000. Basically a 90-minute tape that nearly filled with programs, which take 6 or 7 minutes to load. Programs are in order as follows: 2K demo, BioTalk, lib1, lib2, lib3, lib4, etc. As you will see, I couldn't actually get the 2K demo to load. That was for a Timex Sinclair 1000 because it only had 2K of memory, and then BioTalk was a biorhythms program. Ironically, if you look at not the list, if you look at the catalog, what's interesting is that the biorhythm was actually something they were selling, but it was for the Timex Sinclair 2068. So with a 2068, you got a whole lot of extra software where you could build your own word lists construct your word list given the word list that you had here. In other words, so you had libraries 1 through 9, but you could take words from libraries, from all the libraries, and create a new library out of that. So you could create a program with specific words in it. The Timex Sinclair 1000 didn't have that option, so you couldn't compile new libraries, basically. So what they did instead, they threw in BioTalk. However, I couldn't get BioTalk to load either. I'm going to try it again on a later date, but I got lib1 to load, and I'll also try lib2 as well. What I did is I basically just took the entire, took my little cassette player, and I just loaded the entire thing in to an audio file, and then I used Audacity. First I looked at Audacity, but I actually used Z81, the emulator, and there's a way you can load directly from an audio file, and you don't even have to increase its volume. There's a nice little feature where you can sort of try to map the signal, and I'll show you how I did that with lib1, and I'll try to do it with lib2. So they're each about 7 minutes in size. What I did to make this load faster is I used OTLA, which is a another program that I don't know. I've already did a video on that, but this video might come out before the OTLA. But it's a fast load and it's phenomenal. So you might maybe you'll have already seen the video, or it'll come out soon thereafter, which is a fast loader for ZX81 Spectrum, and I did the fast loader, and it cut it down to like 14 seconds, and it works brilliantly. It's through the audio port, so you don't actually have to do you don't have to have any hardware on that at all. So that's kind of nice. In any case, so this is a speech synthesizer, and I'm going to demo it to you today for the ZX81 Timex Sinclair 1000. And if you saw my video on my home built keyboard, that's why I put the amp into, so my homemade keyboard, which I housed my first ZX81 in, I put in a small amplifier with a speaker in there, and that's actually why I did it, because I had this piece of software. I completely forgot about that. I know it's sorry for the blurry part. So here I have the word list. It just tells you, so library 1 has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, it has the numbers. 13, 14, I guess is how you say 14, because it has 13 teen, because 13 and 15 are said differently, but 14 is just 4 and teen. A effect, it has, the word list is a little different because all I get is 23 words. So it ends actually at all. My assumption is lib2 is going to be amount, so forth. So this library must be, yeah, because it's actually only showing, if you look at the numbers, it has 2 and it's showing 4. So the libraries for the Timex Sinclair 2068 were bigger. So for the Timex Sinclair 1000, they actually parsed this off into smaller libraries. And so my assumption is library 2 is going to start off with word 24. And I don't know how long it'll go. We'll check that out. But anyway, I got this one to load successfully, and I'll show you how it, I'll show you the various ways you can play it. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. So let's get back to, and you can see that I have the program loaded. Unfortunately, so this is the first library program with the first 23 words that I showed you. And I got it off this tape. And again, I'm going to show you how I did that, how I actually got this tape using the tools on my PC. But yeah, so I got this loaded, and it's basically a mostly a machine code program. It says 12 rem 0 to 23, do not remove. Oh, I see. So it tells you words 0 to 23, which in this list gives you 0 through all. And if I go and list, it's in fast mode for whatever reason, 4, 0, 6. Yeah, so it's not a very long program. Now, a way to run this is I need to turn the volume up, because it actually plays it through the speaker, but unfortunately what will happen is when this gets out of tune, it just shuts off, and so this TV actually won't work. But let me give it a try. Yeah, so it just becomes silent. But here's where you're supposed to hear what it's saying. And this would work on an old CRT TV, but it's just not working on this TV because it's literally tuning itself out as you're doing this. So this is unfortunately modern TV space. If I had an amplifier, I could stick that into the side here under the mic and then amplify, but I actually don't have the amplifier. I don't know yet what voltage the little amp that I put on my ZX81 uses, so I'm not going to use that. I do have a boom box that takes aux in. What I do have to give it a try as well is I have an old analog TV. Okay, so I have this Pocket Vision 34 TV from Radio Shack, which is an analog TV, which ought to work. I've got it hooked via this antenna to my Timex Sinclair 1000, and so let me turn it on. Yeah, and there's the actual signal. I can actually, I can magnify it. You can see that. Oops, let me. Yeah, so that's the signal. So if I run this, and I can now turn the volume up, I can actually barely make it out. Let me do this. I'm going to put this off camera. Ready? So I'm not sure if you're able to hear that or not, but it's very distorted. But supposedly you can use some resistor values to clean up the signal on your TV or from the mic via an amp. So there's different ways to do it. So anyway, let me show you now on the computer how I actually, so I did end up recording that signal, and let me show you on the computer how I use Audacity to clean it up. All right, here we go. Okay, I want to quickly go through this. So first, let me talk about how I captured the audio from the cassette. I used Sound Recorder and recorded a WAV file. I used my little Sony Walkman and plugging its headphones directly into my microphone. And so that's when I got that file. And then I open it up in Audacity under Import Audio. So this would be side 1 wave right here. And this is a big file, so it's going to take a little bit. Generally what I did is I actually, so I got rid of split stereo track and got rid of one of them because I don't need the other. So you can see this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. If you actually amplify, which you can do just to take a look at it visually, and this will do it pretty fast. You can see that the first one has an issue because if I stretch it out a little bit more, this is part. So this is just the lead-in, but this is actually part of the tape, and it goes high really quickly. This one actually also has a problem. One way to find it is if you stretch it out further. At one point, you can find a dip in it. Yeah, I just passed it. It's right here. So, so I don't know if this is, I need to just try to re-record it and I'll get it, but this is what caused it to fail. So what I did is I ended up taking the third one, which is this one right here, and I can just kind of run it. Well, first of all, I just want to reduce the size. So first, second, take the third one, and just grab it from here to, to the silence. And then I can do the trim and shrink it again. and cut it and just go all the way to the front and just have it be at 0, paste it in, and then I can actually export it as a WAV file, call it 1-3, and save it. And once I have that, then I can load it into my 81 emulator. And the way you do that is you just open the wave loader, open the file 1.3 on desktop, and that'll load in the file. And you can see that it looks like that. And what you can do is you can kind of move this around. So you can move this line around. And so that's sort of your threshold. And then you can move this sort of in the middle. And then when you do that, you kind of max out the signal. And you kind of want to keep these bars, so you can raise this some more, because you want to keep these are your transition bars. And you can keep them in. You also want to, so if this is too low or this is too high, then your noise has to be below this as well. So it's a little bit of a fine tuning, but this will probably load now. Maybe that one's an issue. So I would move this up some more and move this up. See how the front looks? Yeah, it looks good. And so then what you would do is you would just say load, and it'll just go through and read that. All right. And then when you're done, so I'm going to quit that, assuming I've got a program loaded. So you go and you open up your tape manager and you just say, so you have to, under tape options, you have to say TZ manager. And then you say TEST, that saves it. It saves it in the tape manager. And then here you can save it as a P file. So this is kind of convoluted. I had to figure this out. It's not intuitive. They should just have a drop-down dialog box that allows you to save anything as a P file. In any case, so once you have it as a P file, which is what this is, side one, I don't know what, I think the 3B was the unoptimized version, perhaps is what I called it. In any case, then once I had this B variation, I could take this program, which is the fast loader, and here you do a new add. And again, I did a video on using this, so if depending what order this video comes out, either you've seen it or you can see it. So then we go with the P file, and that activates this, and now I can actually generate a new wave file that's optimized. And the cool thing about that is, so it generates this. So if you look at the properties of this, it's 6 minutes and 32 seconds, whereas this newly generated one is 14 seconds, and it actually loads perfectly through the audio channel onto my TS1000. So that's how I got, how you can get an audio file from tape to turn it into digital and fast loading. So then I took my boombox and I piped it into and recorded the wave file from amplified from the mic out on my Timex Sinclair 1000 when I ran that. And so let me show you what I did there. So I'm going to import that audio, and so that's speech 0. And you can see it like if I were to, I think if you use, we can use amplify. It looks very messy, but then you can see that you have very noisy. And I did some signal processing. You can do noise reduction. You can do there's filter curve or graphic equalizer. I use that. Then compressor, and the last one is normalization. What was the other one? There's compressor and there's normalized. And from that, I got the cleaned up version, which looks like this, speech 1. And here, so now all the buzzing is gone. Oh, I got it. Actually solo that. All right, so here we go. And so, yeah, and so that kind of lets you hear what it sounds like. Again, if you're just going to try to amplify it, you're going to hear this. so it's noisy, but supposedly using a certain resistor values on the output of the mic to your amplifier, or even through the TV signal, you can try to clear this up electronically, where I was doing this digitally here. Okay, so if I play this, so this was the sound that I played for you earlier, but so I can sync this up with the computer, so you can kind of see what it would sound like. So if I hit run, so I basically have to hit play and then run, and you'll see. And again, so that's and supposedly if you're so this again came out of the mic jack amplified, not a very good amplifier, just an old boombox. But if I use the so this is with Audacity, cleaning it up again. I've already played that for you as well. But this is kind of the best you could imagine, and I could do more with Audacity. But again, if I just go ahead and play this, and I think I just got to start this just. So the S's need to be fixed, and there is a plugin on Audacity that can do that for you. But and of course, as I've already stated, this is not speech synthesis because it's someone's recorded voice. So they digitize the voice and they're playing it back through the audio jack. I think that's pretty cool, and the fact that they even had a workable 2K demo that I can't get to work, that you could actually have digitized audio on a Timex Sinclair 1000 with 2K of memory back in 1981 or 82. I don't know when this was sold or made. This might have been, I know that I got this in 85, but I don't know if it was made earlier than that. This has no date on it, but yeah, that's pretty impressive. So I just wanted to share with you speech synthesis. If anyone has a so I'm willing to share the recovered version of this. I don't think it's being sold anymore. For you know, I got lib 1 and hopefully I can get lib 2, but you know, I would love to have the bio talk and the demo. So if somebody else has I couldn't find this online. I don't know if it's been digitized or not, but if you can find it, that would be great, because I would love to get and again, I'm willing to I don't know if the person that did this is still out there, and I would love to contribute this to an online catalog so that it doesn't get lost, except for the first two, the BioTalk and the I'm going to try to reload the BioTalk using a different recorder. What I used was my little Sony Walkman, which is actually, if I show you, so I used that, was the Sony Walkman I used with batteries in it. But I can probably do better than that, and so maybe use a nicer cassette deck to see if I can get. I don't think I can get the 2K demo, because if you saw on Audacity, that first part of signal seems, and if you play it on tape, it's actually lower. It has a lower pitch, and it shouldn't have that. So it must be, you know, perhaps this tape, the outside of the tape was just exposed and somehow has gone bad, and there's just no way to. I don't think there's any way to fix it. If you know, I mean, I was trying to play with Audacity to see if I can, or even in within 81 to try to sort of find that line, but there's a solid bottom red and the top green line, and you can't adjust it for part of it. So I don't know how to do that. Otherwise, I haven't given up yet, but I don't think I'll be able to get the 2K demo to load. but trying to recover as much as possible. Obviously, the wordless lib1 through lib9 are the important parts, and I think hopefully I can get most of those up. But the BioTalk would be kind of cool as well. But if you have this, put it in your comments. I would love to get a working copy. I haven't seen an online version. I've seen online where they talk about this, but I haven't seen the actual P files or tape files or whatnot. All right, I'm going to end there today. So I just wanted to share with you speech synthesis back in 1984-85 on a Timex Sinclair 1000. It's actually something I don't believe the QO can. Well, the QO might be able to do it because so it has a speaker, so that's not going to work. It's just a beep speaker, but it has the LAN, the network. I don't know how it transforms its network signal, if it's digital or analog. If it's analog, it might be sending high pulses like a modem, and so if you could then manipulate that, so maybe you could get speech out of a QL as well. But certainly out of a Timex Sinclair 1000 and a Spectrum, you could get speech out of it, because anything that does tape loading. I'm also curious if you had software only. Did the Commodore do that? I know I saw Dave from Dr. Dave's Diversion did speech synthesizer for the Commodore 64, but it was actually a hardware add-on. So this is all pure software, which is pretty cool. So I'll end there today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.